Thank you for joining our Introduction to Person-Centered Electronic Documentation webinar. My name is Tiffany Brown, and I'm a Business Development Consultant for Therap Canada. I've worked for Therap since 2019. Prior to that, I worked for a large organization that supported individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. During the last 7 years of my time at that agency, I was part of the Therap implementation team. Not only was I able to train and implement the system across the agency, I was also able to witness the benefits of what the system did for our agency and, more importantly, the clients that we supported. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go, but now let's meet my colleague Calvin.
Thanks, Tiffany. Hi, my name's Calvin Christensen, Business Development Consultant with Therap. I've been with Therap since 2014. When I originally joined Therap, I was an implementation specialist. So what I would do is when you would purchase Therap, I would be the one that would meet with your organization to implement Therap and find the solutions to help your organization. With that experience, I've seen how Therap can be a viable solution across all services in all provinces, and really looking forward to sharing that experience. Prior to working for Therap, I worked for an intellectual developmental disability organization. And at that organization, I did everything from being a DSP or frontline staff all the way up to help running what we call our group homes. A fun fact about myself, my parents are deaf, and so I'm fluent in sign language. So if at any point in the future we get to meet each other or we're on a virtual call and you'd rather not talk, you have laryngitis or something like that, feel free to just start signing and we can communicate that way. That's a little bit about myself. Now let's talk about what is Therap. Therap is a secure, web-based, PIPEDA-compliant system that provides solutions for human service providers across all services, provinces, and other entities. Some of those solutions are your electronic documentation, case management, communication, reporting, and tracking your funding. In addition to some of those solutions, Therap is very accessible. Therap provides an intuitive system to capture real-time documentation, tracking, reporting, and record keeping in an online system that is easily accessible with access to internet or cellular data. That means we work with devices such as your computers, your netbooks, laptops, smartphones, you name it, Therap will work on it. One thing you'll see at the bottom there is no software required. That's important. That's what allows us to work with minimum requirements on these devices. Your staff aren't going to have to download software on each system. And so it helps keep everything simple and helps your staff utilize the devices that they're familiar with. Now that we know a little bit about what Therap is, let's kind of talk about how we got here. Therap was created in 2003 in the United States by a group of partners who own an agency in Connecticut. We then expanded in 2015 to users in Asia, Africa, and Canada. We continue to expand and our reach across the world and really excited doing so. Currently, we provide services to over 7,000 providers and have over 20 plus government contracts. Therap was built on the concept of an electronic system that could save agencies time, resources, and money while improving communication and accountability. But one of the most important things that you will hear throughout this call is that all of this is to ultimately help your organization provide the highest quality of support and care to your clients. If there's one thing you take away from us in this call is know that we speak your language. As you heard earlier, Tiffany and myself both come from the field, but it's actually something that all of our staff do. So anybody that you come in contact with at Therap, we're not programmers. We have programmers. I don't know code. I know the service industry. We all don't just have experience in the fields that you have, but have experience in those fields and utilizing Therap. And so we are subject matter experts on how Therap can be utilized, not just as a system, but really most importantly, to the services that you provide. Next is our data centers. I'm not going to talk too much about these slides. There's a lot of intricate details here, and if you want to know more information about those details at the end, we'll give you guys a way to reach out to us, and we'll give you any information that you would need. But one thing if you get from here is that we care about your security. It is something that we take with the utmost awareness and urgency. It is not something that's in somebody's basement or apartment or in somebody's garage. All your data centers are in Canada. They're being housed there. Your information's being backed up at two different sites. We really take your information very, very seriously, and the data in there. It is very secure. And if you'd like to know more details, we'd love to sit down with you and talk about exactly how we go about accomplishing that. Now that we know a little bit about what Therap is, how we got to where we are today, and about our staff and our team, Tiffany's going to talk about a little bit more specifically about how Therap can help you and your organization.
Thank you, Calvin. Therap has the ability to help an agency at all different levels. First and foremost, your direct support, your frontline staff. Therap is going to improve your overall communication between team members. They'll all have the same information at the same time. It's also going to help improve the consistency because when a plan or supports change, everybody's going to be aware of that information at that same time and be able to implement those changes to best support that individual. From a supervisor and nursing perspective, you're going to have a lot more time on your hands. You'll see that there's a huge improvement in your time efficiency with using Therap. You'll be able to check documentation very quickly at one location without having to pull up different binders from different sites. You'll be able to read progress notes and not have to decipher staff's handwriting. You'll also see improved communication. Supervisors, directors, nurses can communicate their message in an efficient manner to ensure that the entire team has the most up-to-date information to provide quality care. At an executive board level, you will see improved quality assurances. You'll be able to monitor from an overhead perspective, maybe monitor an entire program or an entire department without having to be at that specific location. All the records, all the information that you need are accessible right in the system from any place that you have access to it. Therap Canada was really built around the client and the individual. And it was really meant to help support the person through many different person-centered tools. This is a very cluttered slide, as you can see. Think of each of these pieces as a piece of documentation or paperwork in your site, at your site. Therap has the ability to take all this information, organize it in a very easily accessible way, where all stakeholders have access to it without having to drive to that location, look through that binder, and find that missing piece of paper that fell out because the holes no longer are secure. Therap's person-centered planning tools help support the individual to create a shared vision for their good life. It allows them and their stakeholders to really discover, explore, and plan meaningful supports. They're able to identify personal goals and how are they going to achieve them. They're also able to track and report goal progress through multiple different ways. Here are a few of the available reporting options that are able to show you progress levels and deviation percentages from baseline data. It allows for a quick visualization of progress levels and adjustments to goals as needed. Now that we've discussed how Therap's system is built around the individual, person-centered, data-driven, now let's hear from Calvin about some of Therap's other great features.
Thanks, Tiffany. Let's dive into the system. What you're going to see in Therap is you're going to have the ability to have control your roles and access. So what does that mean? Within Therap, you're going to be able to control what your staff can do and can't do. And we do that via what we call super roles. What's the benefits of that? The benefits of that is that you're able to make it as simple as you need for your staff, only giving them access to things that they need to do or information they should access. You're not putting that big red button in front of them and saying, please don't press that. We all know what happens when they press that. In addition to controlling what your staff can do in the system, you're going to be able to control their caseloads. And that will allow you to ensure that they are only accessing the clients and the client information that they should. So you're able to control what modules and activity they can do in the system and which individuals or clients they can access. If you're thinking about this in the paper world, think of this as caseloads are which binders would I be able to get access to, all right? And the super roles are really controlling which tabs would I be able to access within that binder, right? So you have control of those things to make it as simple as possible. Before we jump in and log into the system, you're going to be able to create your own naming convention for your login names at your organization, your password policy, and your provider code. It's a three-part authentication system that you would utilize whether you're accessing Therap from a mobile device or if you're accessing it from a laptop or a desktop. Before we talk about a couple modules that we're going to highlight, there's 4 to 5. I do just want to let you know up front that Therap has 70 modules. Okay, so we are only going to highlight four or five of those, and I only say that so you don't leave or watch this webinar and think this is all that we provide. We're just highlighting a couple that we think would be beneficial to you. At the end, we'll give you a way to reach out to us to find out exactly how we can help your organization. The first module that I do want to talk about is our individual homepage. Okay, you want to think of our individual homepage as like a one-stop shop for your staff to go and access information or to document on that client. So in this case here, I'm at Brittany Adams' individual homepage. I can do everything about Brittany or access her information from right here. Again, it's a simple way to get your staff to one place and then not having them to have to click between multiple screens just to access the right client and their information. So our individual homepage is a one-stop shop. Again, to equivalent it to paper, if I get to somebody's individual homepage, that's equivalent to getting that binder and opening it up. Everything in that binder is about that client. Everything at the individual homepage is about that client. So very similar, and that's the individual homepage. The next item we're going to talk about is progress notes. Therap offers multiple ways to track these progress notes. And as you know, based on the service you're providing, what you require in this day-to-day documentation can be a wide variety. Therap gives you the configurability to capture those things. So whether it's what type of a note is it a shift note? What times did they work? What happened during that shift? Or we're tracking those goals or outcomes, as Tiffany alluded to earlier. So we have a lot of ways to create these progress notes that are then easily accessible and reportable. Saves you time hunting and gathering those pieces of paper at the end of the month, end of the quarter, semi-annual, or annually. Progress notes, a lot of you utilize them. We have the ability to capture them. In addition to progress notes, you can utilize our assessments within the Therap system. In our experience with other Canadian provider and organizations, there's been high interest in their utilization of the Inter-I assessment. You can see that we are fully licensed. We already have the algorithms for the home care, choices, and pediatric. If you're looking to utilize other Inter-I assessments, we do have the ability to incorporate them into the Therap system. Just reach out to us. We'd love to discuss. We also do have a health screening tool that can be beneficial if you're looking for a health screening tool to utilize. Now that you've learned a little bit about assessments, Tiffany's going to talk more about some of our health-related modules.
Thank you, Calvin. First, I want to talk about our electronic medication administration record. Therap offers an electronic MAR that is user-friendly and available on all devices. You can easily track scheduled medications or as-needed medications, treatments, and much more. It also offers filter capabilities that are available as well as due and overdue reports. With all the data that's entered by staff, nursing and administrators can pull healthcare reports for specific time frames to review all health-related data in one location. It gives you the ability to pull a year's worth of data in a matter of seconds. Now that we've talked about our medication administration record and our health reporting features, Calvin's going to dive into a little bit more of what Therap offers.
As we alluded to earlier, Therap has around 70 modules. As you can see here, we have our product sheet with those other items. Don't memorize it. We just want to make sure that you know that the modules we cover is not something we're limited to. And in addition, even though we do have 70 modules, the way in which we work is we will identify with you which modules will be solutions for your organizations, and those would be the only ones that you would have to purchase. This is not something where you have to purchase the whole system to only use 3 of 70 modules. So do keep that in mind. We really want to make sure that if you are purchasing something from Therap, it is something that you're going to utilize and be a beneficial solution for you. We have a lot of these, and here in just a moment, we'll give you some information on how to reach out to us so we can dive deeper specifically about which modules would help your organization and provide a viable solution. In addition to our products, one thing that we really hang our hat on and we really think separates us from a lot of other companies is our support team. As you can see our support team on the screen there, we have a lot of different experiences throughout that support team across many different services. As we alluded to earlier, they come from the field. They have experience of utilizing Therap. And so you're going to gain all of that knowledge when you do get your support person and your implementation specialist. In addition to helping you get your agency up and running, our support team offers live help, which is the live chat that's offered about 20 hours a day, where your staff can go get Therap assistance. We have a website and a help and support site that gives you step-by-step instructions on all modules within the Therap system. And then in addition to that, we have conferences, user groups, and webinars such as this one here. So our support team, you'll be seeing more of them in the future, and some of them are subject matter experts, and we'll be hosting some webinars where they'll dive into their specialty. Our support team, again, is something we really hang our hat on. We really think they're the best, and we really can't wait for you get to experience that.
We want to thank you all again for joining us today, and we want you to be able to stay connected with Therap Canada. Please feel free to join us on Facebook or LinkedIn and learn more about what Therap Canada can offer your organization. You also have the ability to reach out to us via our website, email addresses, or phone numbers. I know Kelvin and I would love to have an opportunity to talk with you, see what your pain points are, and see how Therap Canada can help assist your agency. Once again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, and we look forward to hearing from you all.